My neckline got lower, my clothes got tighter, and I got more attention for it. My uncovered self is only really for his gaze. Better appreciate it, Sofian. I won't be good, I want you guys to be good.
Grabbed her headscarf and ripped it off her and said, you can't wear that, it's illegal, it's banned. The way you value beauty now is by showing it to everybody. Assalamu alaikum guys, what's going on? We are the X's and welcome back to another episode of Things You Never Knew About Islam.
Things you never knew about Islam. Oh yeah.
So today we're going to talk about hijab, which is this.
Basically, we've had a lot of feedback on the videos, and one of the recurring questions or comments that's popping up are people questioning Amara's hijab. Why do you wear a hijab? Why are you wearing the big long cloak in the heat? Why don't you wear something that's a bit more airy?
Lighter, A guy commented and he was just saying he just didn't understand it very much, and that, no offense, but he didn't think it was very feminine. And it just got me thinking. I had so many thoughts at once. A lot of it is because I remember feeling like that.
Okay, so just a little history on the word hijab. The word hijab is used in the Quran, but in the Quran the word hijab means a literal curtain. So the Prophet ﷺ's wives were not allowed to be seen by other men, and there was a physical veil or curtain. Let's say for instance I would stand on this side and I wouldn't be able to see Amara, and we would speak through the curtain. In the Quran, that is the definition of the word hijab, and that was only prescribed for the wives of the Prophet. The word in the Quran for the scarf is khimar, and the word for the garments which Muslim women wear in the Quran is the jilbab, which is a loose-fitting garment or loose-fitting clothes. Modern day Arabic, hijab refers to the scarf like Amara's wearing.
It's kind of used as a loose word for basically covering yourself.
Yeah, so if people say, oh, she's got a hijab on, today people mean she's wearing a scarf.
Yeah.
But hijab is more than a scarf as well.
Basically, there are different definitions of hijab, as Sufyan just said. For me personally, when I talk about my hijab, I mean my scarf, and I guess my clothing, or at least this area. And the reason it's that area is because this is my aura. There's a portion of your body that women and men are meant to cover in Islam, except to your spouse. Your spouse can see everything.
The aura, the parts of modesty from a woman, are from the neck onto the ankle. They cover their hair as well. A male, parts of the aura which he should cover from his belly button to his knees. So men also have an aura.
Not meant to wear speedos at the beach and all that.
No speedos at the beach. No twerking your booty cheeks, guys. No.
And I'm walking on the beach, I'm in my speedo.
Some people are asking why I wear this. I wear this because it's light and it's flowy. It just keeps me cool, and I'm Scottish and we like kilts and skirts in Scotland, so I like a breeze. That is mostly why I wear it, but I don't wear this every day. I wear a hoodie, I wear joggers. Anything that is covering you in a modest way can be counted as your hijab. It depends on what you interpret as your hijab. And mostly, to be honest, I'm talking about covering my chest and covering my butt. Those are the areas that I'm like really focused on making sure are very covered, because I feel like everything else is kind of easier to cover. So as long as those are kind of covered, I'm cool. And I like the long drapey sleeves because they make me feel fancy. That's it. It's not nothing special. And it's not just people that wear hijab, like a scarf, that wear these. Like loads of people wear them, especially in hot countries, because they're just so comfy. So I don't wear it to be like looking practicing or to be like especially orthodox or anything. I just wear it because it's really comfortable, and I wear a bunch of other things too.
There are certain people that Amara has to cover her hair and the rest of her body in front of. Her body. My body. And there are certain people who she does not have to cover them in front of.
I have to wear hijab in front of anybody that I could theoretically marry. It doesn't matter if they're already married, and it doesn't matter if they're not into me. It's not about that. So I don't need to wear hijab in front of Sufyan, my dad, his dad, any of my blood uncles, my granddad, his granddad. These are people that are like most definitely off limits in Islam. Even if something happens to Sufyan, I cannot marry them. And girls, I don't need to wear my hijab in front of. A lot of Muslim women as well, they're very, very conservative and modest in their dress, but as soon as a wedding happens or there's a party, they're the wildest ones to tell you.
My mum said that Muslim women parties are wild.
They are, and they're wild.
People that Amara would have to wear a scarf in front of would include my brother, my cousins, her cousins, any male who is a non-mahram. Somebody who is non-mahram is somebody who she would be eligible to marry, and these are the people that she has to cover her hair and modesty in front of.
That's basically who I wear a scarf in front of and who I don't. So I started wearing hijab. I wouldn't even say hijab, I started wearing a scarf in high school because I went to an Islamic high school and it was part of the uniform. Then it just became natural for me to like outside of school wear it as well because my mum wore hijab as well. Then I went to college after high school and I had a big culture shock of being around everybody basically. I got very mixed up in my own identity, I would say. So the first year I kept wearing it. I didn't really wear it with pride. I didn't really understand why I was wearing it, and I really wanted to take it off. When it was going to be my second year of college, I spoke to my parents. I remember it was coming to winter time, and I really had this thing in my head of I want to wear a hat with my long hair out. I thought that is super feminine and girly, and I don't feel feminine in my scarf. I remember it was getting to winter time, and I thought I need to do this now, otherwise I might miss my winter thing, which sounds so ridiculous, doesn't it?
I remember I'm growing up and seeing music videos.
Yeah.
The guys had the big coats, and then the girls had these hats with their hair coming
That's
out.
what I
and the
wanted.
the big winter.
That was my vibe. I want to be the one that's like on the train, and I look like that, and I got my winter boots. So then I spoke to my parents, and I had this like really uncomfortable, okay, so I want to take my scarf off, and I think they were really surprised and shocked, but they held it in really well. My parents were like very like calm with everything.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, okay. And I saw my mum's eyes looked a bit sad. They were like, just keep praying and keep doing your other things, and that's okay if you don't want to wear a scarf right now. So then I took it off, and I didn't keep on with the other things. So I went back to college after the holidays. I wasn't wearing my scarf anymore, and I remember walking down the corridor and feeling very different. I looked at very differently, but it was in a way that I was wanting at the time, obviously. Guys were looking at me now that never paid attention to me before, and I was like, whoa, this is so different. It feels like I'm a totally new person. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to feel more girly and free and get more attention. It feels so good. My boundaries for myself slipped a lot in terms of what I would wear. Before I was wearing a scarf, so obviously my clothes lined up with the scarf.
Yeah.
So if I'm wearing a scarf, I'm not going to wear like indecent things.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't wearing a scarf anymore, it felt like there was no rules. My neckline got lower, my clothes got tighter, and I got more attention for it, and I enjoyed it. I was like, this is the way a girl's meant to feel. There's guys appreciating my femininity. This is great. My whole thing was, I want to get married. Like, I really want to find a husband. Now, I'm getting so much more interest, and so many more people talking to me. This is gonna help me find a husband even faster. Like, people are coming to me now. The guys that I was attracting were like, not the kind of guys that I wanted to marry. They didn't have the Islamic values that I was looking for, but I didn't have the Islamic values growing up. I watched my mum, obviously my mum was a great role model, and in my head I always thought I'm going to be like her when I'm older. I wasn't being like that at all. I was just so far from the person that I imagined in my head, but I just ignored it because I was enjoying my life. I was like, no, this is making me feel good. I felt so trapped before, this is making me feel good. I'd stopped praying. I wasn't really looking into Islam because I didn't want to know what I was doing wrong. You know, when you're too in it, I don't want to be told what I'm doing wrong, and I don't want to feel guilty and stuff, so I'll just avoid it.
You don't want to hear talks, you don't want to hear Quran, you don't want to hear anything religion. I'll find out who I am myself.
And even like praying and stuff, you put a scarf on to pray when you're a woman, and that made me feel guilty too, so I would just avoid that. Prayer is a time where you're like reflecting on your life and yourself, and I didn't want to have that conversation with myself or with God. All the things that I had before had kind of just dropped. Then I went to university, and I was just still feeling very lost and not really knowing myself, still attracting people that were just as lost as I was. I took a gap year from university to work on my health and to work on some personal stuff. Everything was so positive and great, and I just still felt rubbish. I had a lot of time to just be by myself, so what I would do is I would walk out through the fields. So
walk out through the fields.
I walk in the fields.
I'm out in the fields, love!
Someone help me, I'm in the fields!
I'm in the fields, love! With the cows!
Oh yeah, I was. I went for a walk in the fields basically every day. I'd sit really still so that the animals would just animal around me. And
Did
just sit
you put
against
like
me.
leaves on your face?
I didn't.
Just blend it in.
No.
Hello from inside this
So I'd just sit there all day, and I think that helped, being away from everybody and just having time to ground yourself and just disconnect from everybody. I would go for a run every day, and there was a field that I would pass every single day, and it was a beautiful field, and it was like, you know, the one where there's like not corn, but you know, the grassy stuff
long
that's
one, and you can
like
play
gladiator grass. Yes, that's the thing. I just loved it so much. I'd be in my little workout gear and go for a run every morning. But I don't remember thinking about anything that year. I just remember doing the motions of life. And then one day I go for my run, and the clouds above that field were just so heavy and grey, and it started chucking it down. And I just started breaking down. Like, I just started crying. I just started crying. I was like, I'm just living a lie. That's what I felt like. I felt like I'm such a fraud. What am I doing with my life? I know what is right and I know what is wrong. I know I'm doing something wrong. I know I'm being an imposter, basically. Cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, it's cognitive dissonance.
You know something's right or wrong in your head, but your actions aren't reflecting that at all, and you cannot get your actions to line up with it. And then something happens and you're just forced to line up with it. That was the moment where I was like, you got to sort yourself out, love. This is not going well. Everything else is like la-di-da in your life, and you're still feeling depressed. You're still not moving. feeling, I was forced to basically deal with what was going on inside. And what was going on inside was I was feeling really ashamed. I was feeling really ashamed of the fact that I was limiting myself to a version of myself that I didn't even like. I was so held on to the vanity of I want to really look good in the way that I think looks good, and I don't care about anything else. I know what pleases Allah, and I know what I'm meant to do as part of my religion, and I know what is even protective for me and safe for me, and I don't care about that. I just want my hair out. And I was kind of forced to have this moment of, you don't even like yourself. I wasn't being the version of myself that I wanted to be in my mind, and I felt like it was going to be such a big journey to get there. And I was waiting for this feeling that I wasn't feeling. I was waiting for the feeling of, you really want to wear the scarf, or now you're ready, and I didn't feel it, and I didn't know what was wrong. And I had this friend that I spoke to a lot, and she knew me all through high school, all through college, and she wore hijab. On the phone sometimes she'd be like to me, how are you feeling about hijab, and are you feeling like you want to wear it? I'd always be like, nah, I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. Then this time I spoke to her, she said, so how are you feeling about hijab? I'm just not feeling it. I've not had that magic feeling yet. And she goes, Amara, there is no magic feeling. You're waiting for something that's not going to happen. What if this feeling never comes to you? It's never easy. It's never a thing that one day you wake up and you're like, I really feel like covering my hair today. I want to stick a scarf on today because that's going to make me look 10 times better than I do right now. It's always going to be that thing of you have to make the decision of it. One day I was going out with my family. I said to my mom, I'm not ready to wear a scarf, but I don't feel happy with myself. I don't feel like good about myself when I'm going out. And she goes, why don't you just wrap a scarf around your neck? She goes, why don't you just do that? I know you don't want to wear a scarf and everything yet. Why don't you just put it over your shoulders? Maybe you'll feel better. I put it over my shoulders. Okay, that feels better. And then I went into the car. We started driving, and I just thought, okay, just do it. I thought, just try it right now. You've got it over your shoulders. Just try and see what you would look like putting it on, because it'd been so long since I put a scarf on myself. I hadn't even been praying for ages. It'd been so long since I've even seen my face in a scarf. Why don't you just try it now? And you've got the car mirror in front of you, and see how you feel like being outside. Why don't you just try it? So I put my scarf on and I looked in the car mirror, and I thought, okay, it looks okay. I thought I looked a bit like my mum, which helped. I thought, okay. And then I remember my mum was like, and my little sister's in the back like, because my little sister was wearing it as well at this time. They were all looking at me like this. And I was like, nobody react. Nobody say anything. I'm just trying it. And they were like, okay. And I never took it off again. What I've learned is there is no magic feeling of today's the day I really want to wear it. I'm ready. There is no day like that. It's terrifying the first day you do it. But there is a feeling of, it doesn't feel like an obligation. It feels like a blessing that I have. It feels like something that gives me so much, and it protects me, and I'm happy that I wear it. Do I ever want to go out and feel the wind on my neck and my hair? Yes. Do I wish that I could like look cute in the sun and take pictures in the sun? Although if you have a garden, you can do that. Yeah, I do. Do I want pictures with my husband out in these different countries with my hair out? Yeah. But I love hijab, and there's so many reasons for it, and I want to talk about that. There's so many things that it's given me that I never expected. I always thought it would feel like a duty or a chore, or okay, I'm doing it because I have to do it, but it doesn't feel like that at all. Genuinely, it doesn't. So I've been wearing hijab for 6 years, and it won't take 6 years, inshallah, for everybody, don't worry. But now after 6 years, I feel really proud, you know, wearing hijab, because I feel like I visually represent Islam. If somebody looks at me, they know she's Muslim, innit? I love that about it. I feel like it's an honor, like somebody can look at me and think she looks Muslim, which is also why I actually dress not cute a lot of time. When I'm out and about, and when I'm on video, I want to represent Islam really nice. I want to wear my little cute things. I want to wear the nice coloured scarves, not just black all the time. I want to put a bit of effort and try and represent Islam in the best way I can. And I think people have that misconception. Islam's very about like, you know, mixing with the community, making friendships and making connections with people. Islam means that I can do that in a really safe way. I can go out and I am fully covered. Anything that is important to me on my body is under lock, so I'm free to like engage with a guy, and I can speak to a guy, and no matter how like friendly I come across, there's a boundary and there's a barrier to how much of me he can see and how much of me he can access. And I love that about Islam. I feel like when I didn't wear hijab, I had to be way more careful in how I interacted with guys. I feel like I could just have a conversation, it would come across a bit flirtily, even though I wasn't trying to do that. And I don't even just mean like, you know, breasts and bum and stuff. I think there's loads of intimate parts of a woman's body. When I was growing up, I remember always thinking like collarbones are so intimate. Like, you know that area, the décolletage. This décolletage area. I thought, what a beautiful part of the body. And I thought it's so crazy that everybody just shows the décolletage and they don't feel like, oh, you can't look at my décolletage. The idea of a guy looking at me the way my husband looks at me really truly like grosses me out. You know it does. Like, it doesn't make me feel good. The fact that I can walk around, be dressed really cute, I mean, don't throw shade at me if you don't think it's cute.
You're just cute.
Thanks, babes.
Very regal.
thanks babes. The fact that I can like dress what I think is cute and be like fully covered and go out and about, that's great to me. Me wearing hijab also means if I'm chilling in mixed company and stuff, no girl's ever gonna feel like, oh, she's kind of trying to low-key seek attention from like the guy I'm with or something. My curves and stuff are covered. Anything that is basically for my husband that I want my husband to look at, they're not for anybody else's like partner to look at. I don't want to take any attention from other people's partners from their partner. I won't be good, I want you guys to be good. So if I'm covered, there's nothing for anybody else to look at.
Not to say that a woman wearing hijab can't be lewd or promiscuous or flirty. It's just the fact that her body and her assets are not on show for someone to perv on, gaze on. She's covered.
And it's the thing of like, I wouldn't want somebody to accidentally look at me either. If I'm covered as much as I can, there's not even the possibility of somebody accidentally seeing me like that and me making another woman feel like uncomfortable or something, which I would never ever want. Also, hijab means that I can come home after a long day, take my hijab off, and Sufyan's the only one to have seen me with all my beauty out, with all my beauty out, with all my beauty out. My uncovered self is only really for his gaze. That's nice. That's pretty cool.
That's nice.
Better appreciate it, Sufyan. I love my body, right? When I work out, I love my body more. I don't want anybody looking at my body. If I work hard for it, Allah's blessing me with stuff, why do I want my body out for the world? I want random people looking at me, bro. No.
There's a problem with society these days. People are offended at the concept of somebody valuing their beauty by preserving their beauty. So for instance, parts of her body which are considered beautiful or considered feminine, Amara covers those parts, and today's world want you to expose those parts. If you've been going to the gym and you've been I don't know, doing your little booty workout or whatever, what you have to do is buy a pair of leggings which hug your skin as tight as possible and show all of the curves of your body. The way you value beauty now is by showing it to everybody. I think it's weird, personally, if I'm just speaking to a man right now, why should I know what your wife or partner looks like naked? I feel like that's something that I shouldn't be allowed to see, you know? That should be preserved for you, and you should feel uncomfortable at the fact that I know what she looks like. People will always hold the other argument as well, but why should a female show her body to everybody and show them, look, hey, by the way, this is what I look like naked, this is what I look like in minimal clothing, here you go everybody, gaze upon me. And you get guys ogling. That's not something that everybody has a right to see. It's an odd thing.
It's special, isn't it? The body's special.
It's special, it's private. Now if you go back a certain amount of years, yeah, not even too many, people were not dressing like that. Yeah, this is a modern world thing. Women in the past, princesses, you're talking even royalty, you go up the chain, everybody dresses and covers themselves. We as Muslims, Muslim women, the way they value their beauty is by preserving their beauty. This is my hair, this is my body, this is my beauty, the things that make me a woman and that are sacred to me, and I'm going to cover those things for the people or the person who I can share that with, which is Amara's husband. I'm not critiquing people, I'm just saying, why is the way that you value yourself in today's society to undress? And everybody knows that sex sells, yeah? You call them thirst traps and stuff like that, yeah? People posting pictures naked or semi-nude. No one's under any disillusions as to what the aim of that is. I don't want to see everything.
So like before I was saying, when the guy commented saying he doesn't get why it's feminine, he doesn't really see it. I get it, because I used to think like that too. But as I've grown and as I've worn hijab, I don't think of my hijab as, is this looking feminine today? There's a bunch of things that make me feel feminine. Yeah, when I'm with Sufyan, me having my hair out, I do feel a bit girly. I feel really cute. Hair's cute. There's a bunch of things that make me feel feminine. If Sufyan's like on my lap and I'm like cradling him with my hands, I feel feminine then. If I'm singing, why are you looking like that? If I'm like singing, I feel feminine. These long drapey sleeves, they make me feel feminine. I feel as like queens.
Yeah, very regal, very regal. Obviously, his concept of femininity is not this. If you've got breasts, I should be able to see that you've got breasts. Why are you covering everything and wearing these drapey gowns when it's not cute? Put on a pair of high heels and some skinnies, put on a skirt. He could have grown up in a family who dressed in a certain kind of way, and then that's femininity to him. What Amara's doing is a totally foreign concept to him, so he doesn't understand why that is feminine. But there's a problem in him saying that this is not feminine, and that is, he could argue that that's feminine. Amara could think that this is feminine. I could think that something else is feminine. So there's a problem with the definition of the word.
Even me and Sufyan have different
definitions
of feminine.
While somebody on the other side of the spectrum may go out in revealing clothes and think, oh my gosh, look, I'm so girly and feminine right now, one's assuming that somebody going out in an abaya and a headscarf is not feeling feminine, and that one is more desirable than the other. On to a slightly more serious matter. I was on Facebook the other day, and obviously the Olympics have just passed right now, and I saw a post about a Paralympian being critiqued from the Olympic people about what she was wearing. Apparently her shorts or her bikini bottoms or whatever were a bit too small, revealing or whatever. Yeah? I read the comments, and every single person in the comments, she should be allowed to wear whatever she wants. How dare they? It's her body. They're just hating. Everybody stood up for the lady and her right to be able to wear as little or as shorter pants as she wants, revealing as much as she wants. Okay, in the Olympics this year, one of the teams, was it a volleyball team or something like that,
Yeah, I think so.
decided that they weren't going to wear the bikini suit that is obligatory to wear.
It was against the regulations to have it past 10 centimeters or something.
Yeah, they wanted to wear something that covers themselves more because they thought it was a little immodest that they had to wear revealing bikini bottoms and everything. Yeah, everybody stood behind them and said that is fantastic. They should be allowed to cover themselves as much as they want.
Which is true. You should be able to cover up if you want.
Of course, right? People now in this day and age make OnlyFans accounts, right? Now, I'm sorry, please don't go. Please don't go and search in, especially it's like a social media kind of thing, and people sell nude or explicit images or videos of themselves for a subscription price, and this is just normal people, Instagram models. Obviously, you get some people that's like, oh, that's prostitution. A large majority, I'd say the majority of people are like, it's her body, it's her right to do what she wants. More power to you. Society saying that's okay, that's fine. People who don't wear makeup and go makeup free, and I'm not showing my body and I'm wearing loose fitting clothes right now, and look, I'm all natural, I'm wearing a baggy t-shirt, and I just feel so free. Oh my gosh, girl, you're so brave,
so empowered,
so inspiring. I want to be just like you. Subscribe. Look, this is somebody being naked, somebody not being naked, somebody selling sex, somebody not selling sex. So all of these things, yeah, people say you can be and do whatever you want to do. However, if you wear a headscarf in certain countries, it is seen as unacceptable. And let me tell you the only difference. Have you seen the little fancy women, like, you know, they wear the little headscarf thing and they've got the handbag, a little chihuahua.
Yeah.
That's a headscarf,
like
right?
bougie.
That's okay. A lot of black women who have big hair and dreads or cane rolls and they want to tie their hair, black women wear headscarves, yeah? That's okay. This is the only difference. So if you wear a headscarf because God told you to do that, that is totally unacceptable. Somebody explain to me where this is coming from. I call it the free world, yeah? This is the time in which everybody has to be free and just do what they want. Whatever takes you, however you feel, as long as it's free and it's coming from inside you, you can do that. But if God's telling you to do something, that's totally unacceptable, and it disgusts me and I'm offended, and then we need to pass a law to stop that happening right now. Where's the consistency in that rule?
Yeah, it's not.
So the only difference, yeah, in this rule, you can't wear a scarf if you're Muslim. You can't wear it to work, to school trips, yeah? I can't integrate with society. It's holding political value. It's totally unacceptable. It's intimidating to me. It's not inclusive, and sorry, I'm just not taking part of that. But you can walk around naked wherever you want and people are okay with that. I'm not going to get banned or I'm not going to get arrested for it. Let me just tell you one more thing, right? So obviously we know about the ruling in France, yeah? A lot of it's happening in France. A princess from somewhere in the Arab world came to France to visit. A police officer came up to her and said, you can't wear that, and grabbed her headscarf and ripped it off her, yeah? Ripped her headscarf off her and said, you can't wear that, it's illegal, it's banned. So what happened was some people decided to do a social experiment. These women in the same place where the niqab is banned went around in a niqab, and they wore niqab, which is the veil with the eyes as well, but only down to here, and they had booty shorts on and their legs out. Yeah. All through the same province, or at least the same country, people wanted to take photos with them, people praised them. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. Selfies, selfies, selfies. They went to the police took photos with them and did not remove the headscarf. Why? Because I can see skin. This whole thing about your headscarf, firstly, it's removal of somebody's rights, it's ignorant, it's oppressive, and it's perverted. Trust me, if people wear headscarves and wore bikinis at the same time, it will be fine. Nobody's gonna have a problem with that because I can see everything. You cover your hair if you want, I can see everything else. How would you feel if you went out and someone ripped your hijab off?
I was gonna say, like, I think it gets me really upset, right? Because I feel like when you're not Muslim, you don't see how big of a deal this is. I feel like if there's something going on in China, we think, oh, that's a China problem. If something's going on in Italy, that's an Italy problem. A lot of countries, a lot of European countries are exiling people and banning them from doing things in the community if they're wearing a headscarf. You're not allowed to go on a school trip with your kid if you're wearing a headscarf. The fact that that is not seen as a big, huge problem and that only really Muslims are talking about it is so shocking to me. Even you guys, you see me on video, and even if you were curious about my hair, if somebody was gonna come and take my scarf off me and you could see how violated I would feel and how much it would break me, you would back me. You would be like, you can't do that to her, what are you saying? But because it's seen as a Muslim problem, problem. Nobody's talking about it. A scarf makes me feel protected. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel closer to my God. The fact that it makes me feel good to wear a scarf, you want to take that from me. Force me to show my body. I don't want to show my body. I don't want people to see certain parts of me. You're gonna force me to show it, otherwise I can't be part of your community. How is that not crazy? How is this intimidating? How are my clothes and me wearing a scarf, how is that offending you? It should be the opposite. You should be glad because I've not got my bits out in front of you. Like, you should feel like, oh, you're really appropriate. And if I wasn't wearing a headscarf, and if I was just a girl that's got her hair out and I was dressed modestly, you'd be like, yeah, that's really appropriate dress. You get a thumbs up. But if I'm a Muslim and I'm dressed appropriate, it's seen as offensive. It gives me goosebumps all over my body because it makes me so angry that it's so normal to people and people are just like, yeah, that's just the way it is. When it was just in France, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. It's going to be stamped out because that is so crazy. And it's not going that way. It's going the other way. More countries are like, yeah, we don't like the headscarf either. You can't do this. This is basically trying to bully people into taking your scarf off. How is forcing me to show parts of my body that I don't want you to see? How is that not violating me?
It's definitely violating you. The fact that people can't agree on that and can't see that is ridiculous. The word as to why people can't see that is Muslim.
I want to break it down as in, like, I wear this because it's cool and I can be free. I wear this because it makes me feel good. Like, it makes me feel like I'm protected. It's not for my husband though. It's for my relationship with God. That's it. It's not deep. It doesn't affect you in a negative way at all.
Maybe we get a lot of backlash in this video. I hope it reaches some people to at least understand the point that Amara's making about the violation that is taking place like on a consistent basis right now. I mentioned this before and I'll keep on mentioning it, that less than 5% of the Quran is rules and the rest is just like morals and the way of life and this and that. So yes, some Muslims do not wear hijab. Some Muslims may not pray 5 times a day. Nobody's under any false impressions that the expectation of Muslims in the Quran is to do these things, and we are not saying by any means that by Amara wearing hijab or me praying 5 times a day or whatever it is that I'm a better Muslim than somebody else. We are human beings. We are not God and we don't have the right to judge. Judging is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe other people are doing things better than we are. That's not for us to judge.
Yeah, and last thing is basically in response to that guy, if you're watching, thank you for your comment though, because it really like made me think about a lot of things. It made me think, whoa, my concept of femininity and hijab has changed so much, and that's what like inspired this video. Wearing hijab out and about makes me feel so feminine because it's modest. For me to cover my lady parts and anything that I find like my personal beauty, that modesty of it makes me feel feminine. Feminine is in, I feel like a woman. Like, I feel like the best version of myself when I'm being modest outside. At this point now, at 27, that's what I've come to feel. Maybe it'll change in the future, but right now, feminine to me is being modest and just being myself, just being a woman. If you're a woman, you're feminine.
Okay, so just to conclude, Muslim women wear hijab, loose-fitting garments, or their dresses, or their abayas, or their joggers and their hoodies, or whatever it is, to guard their beauty. Because they value their beauty so much that they want to guard it, which I think is a beautiful thing. You don't expose the delicate rose to the ravishes of the harsh desert wind. Think about it.
So that's basically what hijab is and how I came to wear hijab. I don't do it for this man. I don't do it for my daddy. I don't do it for my granddaddy. I do it for my Lord.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. That's the truth. It's the truth.
It's true. I hope you understand it a little bit more. I hope if anybody's like struggling with hijab, maybe it helped you a little bit. Thank you very much for watching.
Make sure you comment and maybe you could share your hijab story with us. Maybe something you learned or something you already knew. Maybe your conception of what hijab is or what you perceive modesty to be. I hope we've not offended anybody. That was never the intention.
We'll see you very soon, inshallah. Please click like if you like this video and subscribe if you want to see more like this.
Okay. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Things You Never Knew About Islam. My name's Sufyan.
My name's Amara.
We are the X's, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Islam.